before you on the screen right here as they move towards the room. I just want to give you a background briefing on what these ceremonies are all about. दोनों बिल गेट्स और ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर स्मृति ईरानी अब पोषण का एक पौष्टिक मिश्रण करके किस तरह से हम अपने बच्चों और गर्भवती महिलाओं का पोषण का ध्यान रखते हैं, इस सेरेमनी के बारे में स्मृति ईरानी जी ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर बिल गेट्स जी को बताएंगी भी और ये खिचड़ी को छोंक भी लगाई जाएगी. This is a millets khichdi and this is something that is part of Indian tradition. ये traditional Indian ceremony है जहाँ millets की खिचड़ी बन रही है और ये खिचड़ी गर्भवती महिलाओं को दी जाती है ताकि ये पौष्टिक आहार हो जिससे गर्भ में पलने वाले बच्चे को सही मिश्रण में मैक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स, फैट्स और प्रोटीन्स भी मिले और माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स भी मिले. इस पूरे सेरेमनी को कहा जाता है गोद भराई का एक बहुत अहम हिस्सा. इसमें ये हमारे वेदों में उपनिषद में इसकी चर्चा रही है. It has been mentioned in our very ancient epics and this is the ceremony that also takes care of how nourishment has to be given to women who are pregnant. And as the minister and as specialists explain this to Mr. Bill Gates, they also give the nutrient composition of the millets khichdi. और भारतीय तरीके से जैसे हम किसी भी चीज को स्वादिष्ट बनाने के लिए to make it tasty, we always give a chonk of Indian spices. And वो जीरे का chonk, cumin seeds will be made and Mr. Bill Gates is going to actually put that chonk on the khichdi before it is fed to pregnant women. This whole ceremony underlines the significance of timely initiation of appropriate complementary feeding and diet diversity in ensuring wholesome nutrition to the growth and development of the child in the mother's womb. Honorable Minister and Mr. Bill Gates are also participating in another ceremony after the God Bharai. They will also participate in the Annaprashan ceremony, which is giving kheer to a newly born child who's just about 6 months old and takes the first taste of anything that's not the mother's milk. And that is the kheer that is given to them. Again, there you see it, Mr. Bill Gates छोंक दे रहे हैं जिसको हिंदी में तड़का लगाना भी कहते हैं. तो तड़का लगा रहे हैं मिलेट्स की खिचड़ी को और स्मृति ईरानी जी उसको खिचड़ी के ऊपर डाल रही हैं और ये पूरी तरह से एक इंडियन सेरेमनी है. और इसके बाद बिल गेट्स जी और अभी ये जब प्रोग्राम शुरू हो रहा था तो स्मृति ईरानी जी कह रही थी कि बिल गेट्स फाउंडेशन बहुत काम करता है बच्चों के साथ नरिशमेंट में, तो शायद बच्चे बिल मामा के हाथ से खिचड़ी खाएंगे और पहले वो टेस्ट करेंगे और इफ इट इज गुड इनफ फॉर मिस्टर बिल गेट्स, इट्स गुड फॉर the mothers who will also be fed this khichdi and then the Annaprashan that will take place. So there the pregnant women are being handed over the packets of this khichdi, millets की खिचड़ी जो pregnant women को, गर्भवती माताओं को दी जाएगी. और this is a balanced diet which has all the macro and micronutrients. And how we do it in India in the style that has the Indian touch to it, chonk lagakar, I'm sure, everything that India does is a rage, whether it is our weddings, whether it is our ceremonies of God Bharai. I think this keeps the Indian traditions alive, along with the scientific requirement of nourishment, nutrition, which are just so important for pregnant women. गर्भवती माताओं के लिए ये बैलेंस डाइट है जो प्रोटीन्स, फैट और माइक्रोन्यूट्रिएंट्स भी देता है. एंड दीज आर रिच इन फाइबर ऑल्सो, ग्लूटेन फ्री भी होती हैं ये ग्रेन्स, और लो ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स, क्योंकि कई बार देखा जाता है कि गर्भवती माताओं में कहीं ना कहीं डायबिटीज का भी एक रिस्क रहता है. तो लो ग्लाइसेमिक इंडेक्स वाले जब ग्रेन्स दिए जाते हैं वो अच्छे होते हैं गर्भवती माताओं के लिए. और अब ये छोटे नन्हे शिशुओं को, स्मॉल बेबीज, 6 month old बेबीज बीइंग फेड खीर, क्योंकि पहला जो मुंह में निवाला जाता है वो मीठा होता है. ये भी एक इंडियन ट्रेडिशन है. और ये मुंह में पहली खीर छोटे से बच्चे को खिलाई जा रही है. एंड दैट आई थिंक डिजर्व्स अ बिग राउंड ऑफ अप्लॉज फ्रॉम आवर ऑडियंस हियर. ये बच्चों को खीर खिलाई जा रही है और वहाँ वो दूसरा बच्चा जिसे वो बेचारा सो रहा है, लेकिन शायद खीर के नाम पर जाग जाए.
नाम क्या है?
और बिल गेट्स जी अब दूसरे बच्चे को
हमारी ओर से बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया. ठीक है,
बच्चे के लिए शायद बहुत ज़रूरी है, जिसे डिस्टर्ब करना सही नहीं समझा मंत्री जी ने, स्मृति ईरानी जी ने और बिल गेट्स जी ने. तो माँ के हाथ में खीर की कटोरी दी है और ये अन्नप्राशन और गोद भराई का जो हमने सेरेमनी देखा, ये नरिशमेंट, पौष्टिक आहार और 2 ट्रेडिशनल सेरेमनीज को हमने कैसे साइंटिफिकली उसको हमने कनेक्ट किया है अपने रीति रिवाजों से, ये उसका एक छोटा सा दर्शन था. और अब हमारे कमरे में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं. वी आर ऑनर्ड टुडे एज द ऑनरेबल मिनिस्टर, Union Minister for Women and Child Development, Srimati Smriti Irani, and our guest of honor, Mr. Bill Gates, co-chair and trustee of the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, join us here after the traditional ceremonies of Annaprashan and God Bharai. The theme of this event is Empowerment Through Nourishment, celebrating the women of New India, Nav Bharat. And it's only right that we highlight the new India through the lens of India's women. And we have with us the Union Minister, who is seen as really the reflection of the women of New India, who she represents today. India's policy making in recent years has been driven with the twin objectives of increasing women's representation and voice and empowering women at all levels. The ministry's approach towards ensuring better nutritional outcomes for millions of women belonging to the socially and economically disadvantaged groups and communities is one of the key missions for achieving this empowerment. Also, distinguished guests, our country under the guidance of the Ministry of Women and Child Development is undertaking relentless efforts to improve the health outcomes for millions of women and children. At the same time, the ministry is championing promotion and opportunities for social and economic empowerment of women through cross-cutting policies and programs and creating an enabling ecosystem that can help them to realize their true potential. I would now like to invite the Honorable Minister to showcase some of these efforts by the ministry and highlight how nutritional policy interventions are making way for a new and empowered India led by women. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together to welcome Honorable Union Minister Smriti Irani on the dais.
Thank you, Nalika. Mr. Gates, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is not often that a partnership translates itself to Annaprashan. It is not often that a partnership that is steeped in issues of health, nutrition, gender, translate into an emotional engagement called Godh Bharai. Mr. Gates, it is unusual for somebody who is known as a global civic leader to come and engage with 4 families today who belong to possibly a challenge disposition. You today blessed 2 children with kheer, 1 boy, 1 girl. And everybody in India knows what Annaprashan means. It is not only the introduction of solid food, but normally Annaprashan is done by elders in the family. Normally Annaprashan witnesses the warmth of a mother, the warmth of a father, siblings, and the unity of community. The fact that the global community with you was a part of a child's life today is significant. Never before has a partner from the Women and Child Development been adventurous enough to venture near making of Khichdi. The ladies here are particularly delighted that Bill Gates could walk up to a stove, could not only splash a little bit of ghee, but also was brave enough to do a little adventure and splatter of jeera, which is what we call cumin, and at the same time mixes it well, I'm witness to it, and then goes to eat it. What you bring is not monetary support. What you bring is not the expertise because of your world experience. What you brought today was warmth. On behalf of the Ministry of Women and Child Development and all of us gathered here at the onset, I would like to extend my gratitude for the warmth and the courtesies that you've extended to women and particularly children today through Annaprashan and Godh Bharai. The Prime Minister's flagship scheme on nutrition. The Ministry and our able officers are ready with a presentation. But if you ask us, how is that translated and helped transition many families to a better tomorrow, I will only say this, that the Prime Minister was insistent on ensuring we use technology to deliver services and solutions. And one of the greatest joys in the ministry is that the Poshan Abhiyan today has over 102 million beneficiaries, extends to 1.4 million Anganwadis, has the support of 2.5 million front workers. In the aspirational districts now, we also look out for the cause of adolescent girls. The Prime Minister's promise to the people was that Poshan will not be reduced to a government program, but will become a Jan Andolan, a people's movement. And what best to manifest the Prime Minister's promise and premise of the program than doing programs like Poshan Ma in September, where an entire month is dedicated to community outreach, and also a fortnight in March called the Poshan Pakhwada, where along with 18 ministries, we have field visits by officers, by civil society leaders, and since 2018, 550 million such activities have been done across India, with over 1 billion Indians participating. Today, we have Annaprashan, but we also do baby showers. And over the course of these 3 to 4 years, 37 million such programs have been done, which includes home visits by our frontline workers. Bill, you have been at the front of the Andolan called fortification. And when we look at the 100% rice fortification and the complexities which get addressed by issues like B12, iron and folic acid, we've also introduced mandatorily millets once a week. You had a little taste, and this year the ministry has helped support the procurement of 41,000 metric tons, which has come up as a generated need from across India. The fact that the Prime Minister again celebrates India's contribution to the year of the millet, I think we in the ministry through the Poshan Abhiyan have tried to support that vision of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is insistent that when solutions are found, they be localized in terms of engagement. And that is why today, in terms of ensuring diversity of diet, we have close to 400,000 Nutri Gardens across Anganwadis in our country, where our local teams between agriculture and frontline workers grow local vegetables, which can be added for hot cooked meals at the local Anganwadi, which also, Bill, is indicative of the community partnership that the Prime Minister was hoping to instill in the program. That while you were making the khichdi and the chokka, you also saw the Poshan tracker in action. This is for the first time in the history of our country that growth monitoring devices have been given to all Anganwadis across the country. This is for the first time in the history of our nation that the Prime Minister's leadership in Digital India has translated to the Ministry of Women and Child Development, and now we have smartphones for all Anganwadis. And the fact that 90% of our beneficiaries as of now are Aadhaar linked, so that our beneficiaries are authenticated, speaks volumes about how much we have come in terms of our journey thus far. Bill, I'm sure that you have much to tell us, but one of your concerns that you have shared privately with me, which I can publicly today talk about, is the challenge of anemia. We are grateful for the reflection that you have shared with us. With our partners in the Ayush Ministry, we have ensured that we do projects across all Anganwadis, but one project will be of particular interest to you, which was done in the rural areas of Belgavi, Karnataka, where 1,500 students, we had introduced a polyherbal issue called Drakshavalya, and these 1,500 students were mapped with regards to the use of Drakshavalya. We saw a decrease of anemia from 30% to 13% in year 1. In year 2, we saw the decrease to 1%, which means in just 2 years, from 30% to 1%, indeed was a fantastic journey. But the Prime Minister again is of the belief that every such intervention is medically validated, and hence now the Ministry of Ayush has ensured that there's a joint effort with the ICMR to medically now validate this intervention, because it's a local solution, it's a natural and herbal solution, it's an organic solution to the challenge of anemia. And last but not the least, the fact that the budget of Amrit Kal Bill talks about a 33% increase for spend on infrastructure. Anganwadis have not been left out. We now have 200,000 Anganwadis that will be earmarked in aspirational districts across the country, which will be given an upgrade in terms of infrastructure, which includes audiovisual aids, which includes internet Wi-Fi, which includes aids to be given especially for children who are Divyang or women who are pregnant and lactating who are Divyang. Many Anganwadis are being upgraded. So if you're in the Anganwadi system, this is Diwali season pre-Diwali. There is much that we have done in the course of our ministry's work for gender. The fact that your organization has not only supported our interventions in nutrition, but the fact that the G20 presidency of India also now centralizes women-led development, courtesy the Prime Minister's leadership, we look forward to your support on the issue of gender as well. Normally, हमारे यहाँ मामा या चाचा अन्नप्राशन में आते हैं. अब आप pick कीजिए Bill, I'm sorry I'm going Hindi on you, whether you want to be mama or chacha. Chacha is the husband's brother. Mama is the mother's brother. Given your focus on gender, I think Bill Mama would be an apt nomenclature for you today. Thank you, Mr. Gates, for your support, and welcome to New India.
Thank you very much, Ms. Smriti Irani, Honorable Minister. As always, you always get some headline or the other, and today's headline is Bill Mama visits India and does Annaprashan for India's children. And another headline that I can give you, Mr. Bill Gates, is there is millet ki khichdi with Bill Gates ka tadka. I would now like to call upon Mr. Bill Gates, co-chair and trustee Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, to share with us his closing remarks and what he thinks India should do to take this approach forward.
Well, thank you. It's a great honor to be here, and I want to thank the Honorable Minister Irani for creating this event. You know, the pandemic was tragic, but many great initiatives have come out of that. My last trip here was before the pandemic, and after the last over the last few days, I've been privileged to see lots of the changes. I have to say the Poshan tracker brings together many things that are a great priority. It's digital, it's nutrition, and it's about helping women. I've been lucky that my co-chair, Melinda Gates, has educated me on gender issues, and I have 2 young daughters who keep me always aware of the special needs there. It's great to see that now we're really getting data about attendance, data about the new foods, and that's driving a lot of innovation. Looking at millet, which is of course very nutritious, but I saw yesterday ways of making sure the millet doesn't spoil, and so it's a even more attractive choice. And of course, there's a lot going on to make growing millet far more productive. Data is going to keep us honest here, and find best practices. We heard about some today that I'm really looking forward to digging into and making sure we establish as strong an evidence as possible for these new approaches. I feel lucky to have participated in the Gothi Bar Rayi and even more importantly, Annaprashan. My oldest daughter just had a baby, so in 5 months I'll get to do that with my first grandchild. So a lot of exciting work, a lot to be done. In closing, let me congratulate the ministry and offer the ongoing support of the foundation in pursuing all these programs. Thank you.